Have you ever wondered why the price of your favorite cup of coffee keeps increasing? This question brings us to the heart of a phenomenon that affects us all: inflation. Right now, America is witnessing a peculiar dance of numbers. The core consumer price index, or CPI, has been moderating its growth, but not as rapidly as we'd like. Meanwhile, the general rate has been nudging upwards, driven primarily by energy costs. So, what's behind all these fluctuations? Well, it all boils down to a concept known as inflation. Inflation, in simple terms, is the rate at which the general level of prices for goods and services is rising. It's like a balloon inflating. The more air you pump in, the larger it gets. Similarly, with inflation, as prices rise, each dollar you have buys less. Now let's dig a little deeper to understand its impact on the economy. On the positive side, moderate inflation can stimulate spending and investment, keeping the economy vibrant. It's a sign that consumers are buying and businesses are selling. However, like a balloon with too much air, if inflation gets too high, it can burst into a problem. High inflation erodes the purchasing power of money. This means the same amount of money will buy you fewer goods and services over time. It's like going to the store with $100 and coming home with less than you did last month. So, what causes inflation? It's typically a result of two things: increased demand for goods and services and increased production costs. When demand outpaces supply, prices tend to rise. Similarly, when the costs to produce goods or provide services increase, businesses often pass these costs on to consumers, leading to higher prices. So, in essence, when inflation rises, every dollar you own buys a smaller percentage of a good or service. Now that we understand what inflation is, let's take a closer look at its impact on the US economy. The country has been implementing measures to curb inflation, showing results, albeit slower than anticipated and somewhat inconsistent. The Core Consumer Price Index, or CPI, has been moderating its growth for 4 months straight, standing at 4.3% year-on-year in August, down from 4.7%. This aligns with the underlying personal consumption expenditures deflator, one of the key indicators watched by the Federal Reserve, or the Fed. However, the general rate rose to 3.7% in August from 3.2% in July, primarily due to energy costs. The Fed's objective is to bring the CPI back to around 2%. Projections suggest that the CPI will exceed previous estimates in 2023, but will decelerate more quickly in 2024 and 2025. Inflation is a complex economic phenomenon that affects us all. By understanding it, we can make more informed decisions about our finances.